Good night, good night, good night, good night, one and all. It is a pleasure to be here. Today is May. We're in a new month, and it's a month. First of all, you know, the month of May is Mother's Day month. So, you know, it's a month that some of us we look forward to. Some of us will say it's just another day. But I want to just tell you that what date is today, Kelvin?
Today is May the 3rd.
Okay, and as you can see, I am in studio with one of my guests so far, Kelvin LeBron Moya-Flowers. He will be joining us for the entire show, but for the other 10-15 minutes, it will be him and I. And then we'll be bringing on Mr. Brian Plummer onto the show, and he'll be joining us for the rest of the show as well. I want to, as usual, ask you to share the live. Today, we are officially on Max Television and Radio. They are throughout the country. They are on different channels throughout the country. I'd have to check and see all those channels that they are on. But so for those of you who have not seen the flyer, I want to tell you that if you know of anyone who have not been able to view the show because they don't have a Facebook account or have that online, maybe a smartphone or what have you, that they are able to view it live on Max TV and Radio. As long as you have central cable television and internet, you are able to watch it in Corozal, in the Corozal district, Orange Walk district, and in Ladyville on channel 51. All right, I know on channel 51 it's Centaur. In San Pedro, you're able to watch it on channel 33. In Belize City, Cayo, Belmopan, Dangriga, and Punta Gorda, you're able to watch it on channel 14. And of course, we're live streaming on both the Zenaida Moya Show Facebook page, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And then when the show is finished, we upload it to Rumble channel. We're also live streaming on Max TV and Radio, on Sector 9, MadLab, Instagram, and on TikTok. So as you can see, we have a wide coverage, and it's very appropriate because this show is a show that is one that we aim to empower, to educate, and of course to engage you, our viewers. As usual, I normally go to the live feed and I normally will see what people are saying. So I'll also make sure that I ask our in-studio technician, Marvin, to ensure that he can put the little chat on there so that I'm able to see when those chats come in. And me too, I have to make sure I tune in live just so that I can see. But yeah, tonight we are here and we're in studio and we will be discussing how can we mold boys into good men. Now, how can we mold boys into good men? Society in crisis. How can we mold boys into good men? And as I mentioned, we have here Kelvin Moya-Flowers, and I'll be introducing Kelvin, but just briefly, why that topic? Because society is in crisis, and it has a lot to do with the upbringing of our young people. You understand? But I want to get into that, and yes, I understand that poverty has a role to play into that, so we will also dive into that and discuss how that affects us. But I want to go ahead and I want to just invite you and just say, thank you our viewers, but also just to say, Kelvin, you tell us a little bit about yourself, Kelvin.
So my name is Kelvin Moya-Flowers. I am 12 years old. The school I go to is Horizon Academy. I am in Standard 5 and soon going to Standard 6. Things that I like to do is swimming and helping out in the house.
Go ahead, Kelvin, and yeah. Okay, so Kelvin, you are now officially, you're 12 years old, and you said those are some of the things you like to do. We're going to get into that, but for right now, on Facebook, I'm saying good night to Nancy De Paz. Good night, my friend. Of course, Jacqueline and Jake Booth, all the way joining us in Corozal. Two of our very, they're always watching, and I want to say a pleasant good night. Of course, Glenford, George, Cobalt, Gilbson, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm certainly going to keep it up and ensure that Keenan Flowers, everybody, I just want to say good night to all of you, and I know we have viewers also on LinkedIn and YouTube, and of course I told you on Max television. So I also want to make sure, Judah Booth is saying there was no sun on Kelvin, Marvin. So let's just make sure. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. All right, so does it, yeah, so we're just gonna check that, make sure he's okay, but let me just stream right ahead. All right, tonight is very important. We have been at this for a while. We have been seeing a breakdown in society, and it's not now that it is happening. It has been happening for a long while. Good night, Sean, Wendy McPherson. Good night. I want to tell you that some of us who are here, we were brought up in a society that we experience the good and the bad, Kelvin. We experience the good and the bad. We are people who, we went ahead and, we have been, let me just turn this down just a little bit, just so there's no problems here. I don't want, yeah. We experience the good. Okay, all right, so I don't want, because I want to be able to see the different comments on the different channels, no? But so that I can read them out. Yeah, right, so I turn that down. All right, yeah, so we have been experiencing different, phases. All right. When I was growing up, for example, Kelvin, when I was your age, that's when we first started to hear about gangs. Okay? That's in the 80s. We first started to hear about gangs. Prior to that, we led a very nice life. We didn't experience those kinds of things. When you did hear about crime, it was a big deal. All right? But now, things are different. Right? Is it a big deal when you hear about crime, Kelvin?
It is a big deal when we do hear about crime.
Okay, so you still feel it's a big deal. Okay, well, that's good to know. All right, that's good to know. Because some people don't feel that it's a big deal. They don't feel, they see it now as just a way of life. I have seen videos where you have a lot of people watching boys and men beating up women, beating up old ladies, beating up old men. You understand? Abusing those who are, are weaker or are smaller, and that seems to be okay by a lot of society. And why I say a lot of society is because I don't hear them speaking out. There's maybe a minimal outcry. However, I do not see anything. I don't see the community really getting out there and really protesting and really speaking up. It's like a death occur, a little boy will get killed, a little girl will be molested, a woman would be killed, a woman is raped, or a boy is raped. You understand? Or it's called buggery. And these things are happening, but for some reason, we are not seeing the type of engagement. And that's right, Sean, that's right. Protect that brave, beautiful boy. Bless you, boy. Thank you very much. And that's how it has to be. And Glenford Gibson, you're right. It starts with good parents raising their kids the right way. And that is why I have here Kelvin, because as much as we need to speak with an adult, Kelvin, we also have to speak to our young people. We have to be able to speak to our young people. And Kelvin, I feel, is one of those young persons who I have a lot of admiration for and a lot of respect for. And Kelvin, first of all, you told us a little bit about yourself, but for our viewers, you said the school you go to
is Horizon Academy.
Okay, then you go to Horizon Academy.
Yes.
And you like the school?
Yes.
Why do you like the school?
First of all, the classroom is very small, so the teacher can focus more on you.
Yes. Okay. All right then. So that's a good thing. So Kelvin, in terms of you being a young person, what all do you do? What all do you do as a young person?
Well, mainly, I do get to enjoy life, but I also have to work. I help my mom with our business, Seablaze Vacation Rentals.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you do at this business, Kelvin?
So what I do is that I make sure our guest is contented with what we offer and serve them. I also market. I also market online. I send our Seablaze ads on buy and sell groups, and then I will promote them. And I will also post them on our Seablaze Moya page and our Seablaze Vacation Rentals page. And then I will put them on the Zenaida Moya show page, Facebook page.
Okay, and when it comes to you take photos when necessary for those as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're one of them, you will go and make sure everything is okay, and you also help with that. Now, for the show, what all do you do for the show?
I help make sure the audio, the video is all set up. It's not all too blurry or it's not distorted. I help make sure to see if this is working, and I help test out everything.
Okay, I see Judah is saying still can't really hear Kelvin. Marvin, do something about that, please, because we need to ensure that they hear Marvin. Everybody, all right. All right, so everybody else, Kelvin, go ahead. Let me see if we can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, so I also deal with the show.
Go ahead.
All right, I deal with the show. I also make sure about the business. I make sure I manage the place efficiently, and I guide others on what to do.
Okay, so I think that is okay, Judah. I think she's saying, and you know, we listen to our audience. This is a show that while people are not calling in, they are messaging. And like I told you, I have to go on LinkedIn because a lot of times we do have our guests on LinkedIn tuning in, and we have to go on YouTube as well and so forth. But all right, so this is, let me just read some of it. Nancy DePaul said these experimental shots have people acting like animals, like they're not human anymore. And well, Judah said some bad background mic noise interruptions, Marvin. So I'm not sure if that's still there. And then Nancy says, Kelvin, you're an intelligent young man. Keep it up. Make mom and dad proud.
I want to thank you, Nancy DePaz, for that kind comment.
Thank you. And Glenford George Cobalt Gibson says, wow, Kelvin, you're learning responsibility at a very young age. So proud of you, young man. Keep walking the right path.
Thank you. My mom was teaching me manners. Same thing with my father.
Okay. Ruben Martinez says, it's hard out there on single mothers, especially if they don't have a job and have 5 kids to feed. How do we help solve that as a society? And we're going to go to that. Nancy DePaz says, we are hearing well. Ruben says we're hearing well. So Kelvin good now, but technician is touching the mic. That's what Judah is saying. Thank you very much. I do appreciate all of your support when it comes to ensuring that we have everything under control. So, you know, you make up a good point because Ruben, we're gonna go to the single mothers. I am a single mother. Let me just put that out there. All right, I am a single mother. And as a matter of fact, I was the mayor of Belize City when I had gotten divorced. I think most of the country knew about that. So I was married very briefly, a little over a year, and whatever happened, I wasn't going to stand for it. And I went ahead and I filed for an immediate divorce. And yeah.
100% custody.
And I do have 100% custody over Kelvin. Legal custody over Kelvin. I got full rights to him. And but what I will tell you is that even though, you know, I have full 100% legal custody over my son, okay, under the circumstance as to why the divorce happened, and in the Catholic Church, you know, the marriage was dissolved, so it was, you know, the bishop said, may he rest in peace, Bishop Derek Wright said, it's like you never got married because of the circumstance. But legally, I have full 100% custody. But do you still go to see your father, Kelvin?
Yes, some days.
Okay, you still
go every week.
Every week, correct? Yes. Do I stop you from going to see your father?
No.
Okay.
It's my choice if I want to go or not.
Okay, all right. So you see, and we're going to bring this up because I really want to discuss that, and I love that you brought that up, Ruben. And then I want to move to something called common sense and bringing up kids and all that. One of the things that I found out is a lot of our people are living and they're struggling. And we can only hope. Sometimes when we meet someone, we hope that the relationship will work out. However, we find out that it doesn't work out for whatever reason. You know, maybe we're just not compatible, and sometimes we saw the writing on the wall, but we continued on. That's not the best thing to do. However, it does happen. It does happen, and I can tell you that. So, but how do we deal with it? Do we just give up? No, we shouldn't just give up.
Don't give up. We have to continue trying new things to succeed.
And that's the thing. We have to have a positive mindset, right, Kelvin?
Yes.
Now, do you feel that going to your father every week for a couple of days is positive for you? Do you think it's a good thing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And why is that? Tell them. Why is that?
So I can have a better relationship with me and my father.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
Yes.
Speak.
And also, I really love my father, and it would hurt me if I don't see him some days of the week.
Okay, all right then. Well, you know what? I have been someone who have been a proponent of children being with both parents. And as much as I, Kelvin, have not been able, I'm not, legally or, as man and wife with your father, I feel it's important that you have a relationship with your father. What all do you do with your father?
Me and my father cook, we watch movies, we play sports.
Okay.
We'll sometimes talk to each other about what is happening and so forth.
All right, so, all right, I want to be able to bring on Mr. Brian Plummer. So we're going to cut for a quick break so that we can bring on Mr. Brian Plummer. All right? Since he's already here. So just go to a quick break.
See you soon.
Looking for the ultimate sea view getaway? Then Sea Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours, located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway near the Halover Bridge, is your perfect sea view getaway. Come relax in one of our beautiful air-conditioned sea view apartments, studios, sea view rooms, or suites, all with flat screen television, hot and cold bath, and unlimited access to a spacious and refreshing 40 by 16 foot pool with 6 to 4 feet depth. So you can enjoy that fun and refreshing dive or dip in the pool. We sell ice cold drinks, so you can relax and unwind on our overwater or poolside decks. Contact us at 501-615-4485, 65 or 67.
Yes. All right. Welcome back, welcome back. Now we are here joined by Mr. Brian Plummer. And Mr. Plummer, it's a pleasure to have you in studio. Mr. Plummer has been here several times. He's an educator.
And I think this topic is very relevant of the times we live in. The rise in gangs and the rise in crime usually committed by young males.
Young males. And I want to get into that, but just finish off with Kelvin. Kelvin, I feel that, let me just tell you why, and this is important because we're talking about single mothers. And I'll tell you, I don't have the full statistics, and the survey will be done soon, but I'll tell you that I feel that over 60%, it could be over 60% of the population in Belize has been brought up by, or has been brought up by single mothers and single parents in general. And we have to acknowledge it. It's not the right thing, it's not the best thing, but that is reality. And there's a book. Okay, they didn't bring the book that I wanted. All right, Bringing Up Boys. I wanted to, okay, I'm gonna bring that book. Go get the book for me, please. Bringing Up Boys. No, it's another. Leave it. It's this, but it was another book. This book right here, Bringing Up Boys, Dr. James Dobson. This is a particular book that is very important. This book right here to really help me to know what to do in terms of bringing up Kelvin. You understand? I did want a son. I'm someone who wanted a son, right? And so I got my son. I wanted a son. I wanted a son. And I got my son, all right? And this book really helped me. It gave me advice on raising boys, all right? It's by a doctor who really, he took, see? See all the little markings that helped me? See all the markings that helped me? I literally read this book from cover to cover, and whatever I felt was very important, I marked it off, or like it had to stick in my brain. I felt that, okay, I'm going to read it, but this same book here. And one of the things this told us was that from the age of 3-4 years old, we need to ensure that our sons have a good bond, a relationship with their father. Now, why is that? I'm a woman. As much as sometimes I may not act like one, and sometimes some people will say I act manly, they may say I'm very aggressive, all kinds of things. However, I still am one. And I feel that a child should be brought up by both a male and a female, a mother and a father. And it's even more important for a male to have that father figure around them. One of the things that it tells you, for example, that from that age you have to have that relationship, because that's also the age that a boy starts to understand what it is to be a boy. You will now see a lot of people now claiming to be binary, what are they? Transgender, gay, homosexuals, lesbians, all kinds of things they are. There's a long list of them. I don't know, queer, all kinds, over 100 genders. Something went wrong with them. And I don't care what anybody tells me. You can come, and because I've had one of my good friends, he inboxed me last time, and he inboxed me back and forth. And he's my friend, it doesn't matter. We were in school together, it doesn't matter. That doesn't mean I won't say what I need to say. But I will tell you that kids have to know who they are from a young age. And when you will have a woman, especially a girly woman,
who can't defend herself.
Well, yes, a girly woman who can defend. Some of us, we know that we practice our self-defense, and we'll do what we need to do to take you down. But when you have, especially when you have a girly woman, and I say a girly woman because there are some women who are very feminine, very girl, and people say that's fine, and that's fine, yes. Not that you will have a lot of very girly, very feminine, very girly women. Girly, that's what they want to do. They want to look pretty, and they want to sometimes just be a housewife and just be that. Now, if you have a boy and that's all a child will see, then you know what? There may be potential that child won't know what it is to be a man. They won't know how to think for themselves. They won't know how to even screw a light bulb. They won't know basic things. And as a girl now, I grew up with both my mother and my father, but I was extremely close to my father. I was closer to my father than my mother. Everywhere my father went, I would go along with him. I would be the child who goes along with him. And I guess that's why I'm different. And he taught me how to do a lot of stuff. That's why even without a man around me, I will get things done. I don't depend on a man. No. A man is still important to their child's life, however. And that's why I feel that this is important. Now, I'm just going to bring up this. This was a book when I was an economist in the Ministry of Economic Development, From Boys to Men. All right, this is one of them that I was also in charge of to ensure that it came out, right? This is from the National Human Development Advisory Committee, and I used to be dealing with those things, right? This is one of the things I used to deal with, from girls to women. Also, this is another thing. So no, it's not just Zenaida Moya not knowing what to do. I used to be in charge, or I used to be the economist in charge to ensure these get done. The National AIDS Council, AIDS Commission also, those were things. So it's just different things that I was in charge of, and there's a lot more of them, right? Boys and Girls in Action, Children in the Urban World, some of these things we had to know, and just a lot of stuff. But I took it upon myself, and why I'm showing you this is that this is a Family Matters. This is a nice book that I had bought, as a matter of fact, and I had bought this book, Violence Against Women. So from a very young age, and then of course, last but not least, I had a lot more. Critical thinking. I took critical thinking at SJC 6th Form because I felt that it was always important to be able to critically think, assess, and just to have common sense. And see, that's the thing that what I'm not seeing right now. In most people, it doesn't matter what qualification you have, I don't see critical thinking being developed as much. And so I want to speak with you, Brian. You are an educator. Where are we with the critical thinking? Where are we with common sense? What are teachers doing to help in that area?
I will tell you that the education system is not through the education, it's training. Training is different from education. Training is to perform a particular role. So they train people to get a job.
Yes.
And so most of the jobs, over 80% of them are rote. You do the same thing, you answer the phone. It doesn't take critical thinking.
Yes.
So that's why if the education system, if the job required you to critically think, they will teach it. But most jobs are routine. When you tell a child go to school, it's to get what? With education, so you can get what?
Just a job.
So that is the problem right there.
Okay.
And so, because that is the point where we are economic products, we are human resource,
yes,
which is a product.
Yes.
Right? And so there is not, in the past there was need for critical thinking education because there wasn't much machines. Mm-hmm. Particularly in a country like Belize.
Yes.
Everything was manual, everything was done by...
We had to use our brain to get that working.
But now it's not necessary.
Okay.
Due to the artificial intelligence and the machine. So, remember the purpose of education. They tell you a lot of fancy words, but I don't buy that. The purpose of education is to produce workers. There is historical evidence who became popular for the masses after the Industrial Revolution to train them to work in factories. Mm-hmm. Before, school was just for the elite. So don't let the politicians swell up your head and say education to develop you. It's really for you to training. I call it training, although I'm a teacher. However, I do what they say, and I teach their curriculum, but occasionally I meet bright children or children who want to learn, and I give them books and I give them personal tutorials besides what the school teach. So the school, whichever school, whether it's some of our premier school, Catherine's, John's, they don't teach like how they used to teach. I could tell you as a teacher. Even CXC, I've been marking CXC from 2006. It has been watered down. They don't say watered down, they say simplified to get maximum results for the time. So they cut out what they consider the fact.
But Brian, and I love that you brought that up, because as an employer, and see, we're discussing molding boys into good men. And that's why I have a boy and a man. And as a parent, I want my son to be molded into a good man, a productive man, And what I mean by good, a productive man, that he can stand up for himself, he can survive in this world, he can thrive in this world, he will do the right thing, he will not be afraid, he'll be a confident young man. All these things, he loves God. But what I've seen is a breakdown even in education. In my days, I'll tell you the truth, you're an educator and I know you're very dedicated. But I have seen, and that's why it's important with school, you have your children. Like, I'm very happy, Kelvin's teacher to a great extent, they're good teachers, and I'm very happy that he's attending this school. Now, I went to St. Ignatius Primary School as a public school. Kelvin is attending a private school. I had very good teachers. I had old school teachers that they cared about us. They are lash way. We used to get lashing too. We used to get lashing as a mother. I used to get shashkad good.
I grew up in that time.
We grew up in that. They cared about us. Now, there are some teachers who still love what they do and some don't. But we are seeing a repercussion because now we are seeing people, there's not enough jobs and they're not educated for this world. And so it's frustrating them that they're going out now, they're frustrating because they're ill-equipped to handle the stresses, to handle what all that are thrown at them. They cannot handle themselves even at work. And I can get into that because I've had to hire different persons. And you see now that now they're unemployed, they're beating up their women, you know, they're beating up their kids even to the point of killing.
Yes.
You understand? And that's what we're seeing. Molestations have increased. They're killing on the street like it's nothing, beating up people. Tell us about that. Why is this? Why?
All right. Everything is not by accident. For every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. There was a time in the past when believers needed some critical thinkers because we were just going into the link to the global world. We were like an island when we were a child. One radio station, I grew up, that's what I knew.
Yes.
But now things have shifted. It's not just in Belize. I've talked to people in the States, people in China, friends globally. It's generally the trend. But they're still amongst the elite. It's because it's not necessary anymore.
Okay.
And they talk about it. We will do it. They want universal basic income. It started in France and Spain already.
Yes.
And so they have decided that there will be some people who will just give them. We started in Belize when we had the so-called pantry and so-called unemployment and so-called giving the senior citizens social security. But the trend is that according to Business Insider, a magazine I read from time to time, by 2030, 50% of the job will be done by machine, automated, right? And that will trickle down to Belize. So you must understand that there was a need in the past to get us to become, in this time, the people who control or set the direction of the world don't need critical thinking workers. They are looking at machines.
Yes.
So they won't encourage that. We in Belize don't do anything that the outside world doesn't tell us to do.
Yeah.
I grew up here and I never saw an idea originate out of Belize yet. Pantry come from America. I know about pantry from America, man.
Yes.
They call it food bank.
Okay.
Everything we do come from outside. We have no original thinkers here.
Yes.
Who will come up with it. What is good for Belize? What is good for... So we follow suit. It's a global trend.
Yes.
A Harvard graduate 20 years ago isn't a Harvard graduate now. A St. Catherine's Academy graduate 20 years ago isn't a St. Catherine's Academy graduate.
I agree with you. I've seen it even in
Yes.
Palote.
Yes.
A Palote student is not...
It's a global trend.
And I still love the school. It's, you know, it's my alma mater, but
Yes.
it's just what I've seen is different.
It's Palote, it's the same.
It's
the same. So, since it's happening globally, not just in Belize, and since human beings are a product of their environment, I believe it's intentional. I believe based on the pronouncement of the World Economic Forum, they want the world automated. They no longer need human beings to be critical thinkers. They will let the robots do it.
Okay, so with that, let me just quickly say though, on LinkedIn, Anthony Hill says it starts with love and self-respect from a very early age. Parental involvement critical. Benjamin Black, he says they must learn the value of their existence rather, okay, all right, okay, Kenroy Espinosa, all right, hi my friend. All right, he says rather than feel as if they are here to just be a man and serve. I like that. They also need to be loved and protected by their father as much as a daughter. So you see, sons need to be loved and protected by their father as much as a daughter. And mothers must respect and cherish their daughters as much as they do their sons. I like that very much. I like that. And nice hearing from you, Kenroy. And let me just quickly go here. It says, Ruben Martinez says, very well spoken, young man. Your parents, although not together, is doing a marvelous job raising you. Thank you very much,
Thank
Ruben.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. We may not be together, but we respect each other. And I mean my ex and I can say his name, Troy. And we support each other. And we do it also for Kelvin as well. So we support each other, and yes, we still look out for each other, even though we're not together legally. And so no hard feelings. We have, we're beyond that, whatever. It may have been for maybe a year or whatever, but we've been beyond that, and I think we're very good friends, as a matter of fact. People may not know that. But Richard D. Troyer says, boys need good fathers, period. That's right. Glenn Ford Gibson says, if you want to be a good father, first you have to be a good son. If you're not a good son, you will not be a good father. Exactly.
But you could break the cycle.
Well, we have to break the cycle.
Because then you could learn from your father's mistake.
You could learn from it indeed. That's a good
I
one.
won't be like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very important. The psychology says 77% of what a human being learns is by imitation.
Okay.
So if you see something around you, more likely you will imitate it.
Yes.
Especially if that's all you know.
Yes.
And you haven't seen anything else. But the change is there where the world has moved more materialistic.
Mm-hmm.
And where human being isn't valued for human being. Just because you're a human being, you have value. Human beings are valued on what they have, what
Yes.
they bring to the table, as they call it.
Yes.
And that's where the problem lies in. You need to respect human beings just that they are a human being. Not.
Yes.
And once you do that, you could then treat people fairly.
All right.
What's the next step here is that you cannot worry about what's going on around you. You have to decide what do you want to do with your life. Because the world have always been in a mess and will forever be in a mess.
Yes.
The world will never be perfect.
So there should be no excuse.
Yes, exactly.
There should be no excuse. No, I'm from this particular street, I'm from this area. And I spoke to someone
Nothing new under the
yesterday.
sun. That has been happening before I born, will continue to happen. It probably get worse, but some people made it through. You have to say, this is what I want. The secret to success is having goals and working towards
I'll
it.
tell you something right now. I want to bring up a conversation I was having with this individual yesterday. But just before that, Jahid X Avila says, that's so true. No critical thinking skills taught in most schools. Only rote or memorization.
Right.
We are trained to be working cogs, not to think.
That's what they want.
No raising of critical issues in schools unless you take a particular class. Exactly, like this, critical thinking class. I took a critical thinking class. Ruben says, also I hope they start teaching financial literacy in schools in Belize. another badly needed subject. I started teaching my daughter at age 6, and that's what I taught. I had a summer school, and I taught financial literacy to the kids because I believe, and they were learning. We had
Entrepreneurship.
an entrepreneurship. How old they were? We had from like 4 years old, right?
From 4 years old to
4,
like
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up 13 years old. So we were teaching financial literacy. Zenaida said, yes, what Brother Brian is saying is true. The entire educational curriculum has been watered down. So most are not prepared for even the complete math CXC. As an example, are not educated to understand a changing world. I remember using that critical thinking book in high school. Very good, Jahid. And Students' Companion in primary. That's right. I was going to bring my Students' Companion book. Now, most students don't know anything about those books, much less concept and issues they refer to. And finally, Judah says it's in every sector to dumb down kids and adults. Critical thinking is no longer encouraged or allowed because they can't control critical thinking. And I'll tell you this right now. I was having this conversation with this person yesterday. And this person was telling me, we're discussing, why she came out of school and so forth. She was blaming her mother initially. So I asked her, I said, she said she dropped out of school at second form. I said, okay. I said, so why? She said, well, my mother took me out of school. I said, okay. But she left it at that. I said, okay, but why did your mother take you out of school? I said, when did you come out of school? She said, I said, when did you start high school? She said, at the age of 14. I said, okay, well, that's 1 year older than I started, but still, 14 years old. I said, okay, so when did you come out of high school? She said, 18 years old.
Yeah.
So I was like, 18 years old? That's 4 years. That's 4 years. I said, so your mother had you in high school for 4 years.
Which is the required time.
Yeah. I say, but you came out of second form.
Second form.
And you just said, okay, your mom took you out of school. And some people to say your mom is a bad mom. But I asked question to understand now that her mother had her in school for 4 years in high school. I said, so but tell me, I said, so what, you repeated school, right? He said, yeah. Because she said she was very smart, extremely smart. I said, okay. I said, but 4 years and you were, you only completed first form. I said, what happened? She said, well, her mom took her out of school. I said, okay. I said, well, what happened? I said, why did she take you? I said, did you get pregnant? She said, yes. See, then we understood. So she just blamed her mother. No, her mother gave her 4 years. 4 years in high school. But she, for whatever reason, was 4 years. I mean, 4 years I was already 18 years old. I was in my second year at SGSE 6th Farm at the age of 18. So she was in second farm at the age of 18. Right? But my point is that people will try to blame their society. People will try to blame their parents and all kinds of things. But I look at somebody and I know him. I won't say his name. He came from a very poor family. He didn't have any mother or father who helped him. None. He didn't have any. His grandmother helped him. Now that person is a PhD, is a doctor. That person continued and always
you have to
tried
have what
to do
you
it.
want, goals that you want to do and work towards it, whatever your circumstances is. Work towards it. Once you have a goal and you work towards it, I had a friend who just told me he went to Venezuela, Belize. He didn't get any scholarship. He went to a university and sat out there and telling me he's from Belize and he wants to study. And they pushed him around and eventually they gave him a scholarship. Belize, he just went there.
Yes.
Said he wanted to study. And he just stayed at the university, went by the president and just begged. They basically took pity on him.
So he got a full grant,
Yeah.
grant aid. All right.
So that's crazy, but people,
Yes, that happens. So what I wanted to get to though is the fact that we now have young men and we see a breakdown in society, and I understand it's not just now, but it it is
Compounded, it's
it
growing.
has been exactly compounded. It has been to the point where, to me, people are numb to it. It's like, it's almost no big deal to some people. To some of us, we want something to change. We want, and I really feel that parents play the greatest role in their children. Now, I never saw this with my son Kelvin, I never did, so let's just put that out there. But let's say I saw my son with, in high shoes, and he's walking around, and he puts on lipstick, and he's walking around, and he wants to be this little girl, and he does it once, okay. You look at it, okay, I wonder why he's doing it. Then he does it again, and he does it again, and he does it again. Now, what would you do? What do you think that parent should do?
Well, that parent needs to talk to that child and find out why he's doing it and try and reason with the child and say that that's not appropriate behavior, but why do you want to do that? You can't just say it's not appropriate behavior. You have to find the motivation behind why the child is doing that. Then you could know the solution. You can't know the solution if you don't know the cause.
But Kelvin,
you cannot just assume, because if you talk to that child, I guarantee you, the child will tell you why.
Yeah.
And then you would do, because maybe it could be he saw somebody did it.
But you have to nip it in the bud.
Yeah,
the point is you have to nip it in the bud. You can't.
That's why you nip it in the bud, but you have to find out the cause. Because if you don't find out the cause and just react, you won't know how to stop it, because the cause. Yeah, that's all right. Maybe somebody is influencing that child.
I normally am somebody, I will ask
questions. Correct.
So,
maybe you see it on Disney. Maybe you see somewhere. You understand?
Yes.
So when you find out the cause, you will have an idea what is the solution.
Yes.
Because it could be if you just hit the problem and don't know the cause, the problem will reoccur.
Now, Kelvin, as a young man, you have lived at 2 homes, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you say you value going to see your father as well?
Yes.
You value living at your mom's house as well?
I value everything that I have.
Okay, all right. You hear that? Now, when you know, if let's say you see, a boy, because I want to move into this, because this is really being a problem and an issue now. Okay, if you see some of your friends who are males, all right, boys in your class or your friends who are male, and they start to, dress like girls, putting on makeup and so forth. Do you think that's something that is normal?
No, I don't think that is something as normal for a boy, especially if if you're a boy, it's not normal.
Okay. Now, what would you do about that? Is there anything you would do or say?
Well, first of all, I would ask them questions on why they're dressed up as a girl.
Okay. All right. And are those individuals you would want to hang out with?
No.
Okay. All right. So you see, I asked him a question and I did not prep him at all. It is just a question that I just came right out. But you see, that's a normal reaction. That's a very normal reaction. But now we have parents now that they will see their kids like that.
And they don't care. They just leave them be.
Exactly, Kelvin. They just leave them be.
I think the media is encouraging, particularly in America, because of politics, the gay pride, the gay movement, and all that type of thing to get votes. It's on Disney, it's in movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I walk a very tight rope. If you want to be gay, that's your business. But I think there's a line you must draw. Everybody have to decide what they want in their life and what they want to do. I don't have any power anybody wanting to be gay. That's their prerogative. But when you try and impose that on me, then it's a problem.
Yes.
But I think
Yes, it is a big
deliberately
problem.
in America and in Europe, Western Europe, it's
Yes.
being pushed.
It's being
and
pushed.
and
Yes.
encouraged.
Yes.
I
And-
think there's an agenda in terms of transforming society. You know, they give, you have females going in male sports, male going in female sports, they're just transgender.
And they're pushing it
I
into
think-
everything, Brian,
Yeah.
because yesterday I was watching this series on Netflix. Now,
Yeah.
yes, I know we shouldn't, some people are saying don't, because Netflix are putting out real crap these
Yeah.
days. But
It's
I was
an
watching
agenda.
this, Good Girls, it's a series. And there's a little girl who you would think it's a boy because she looks just like a boy and sounds like a boy.
But she's transgender. Trans.
Yeah, but then you find out this little girl that looks like a complete boy is a girl. So they're trying to push that on us. Then you see this guy,
That's
this black
their
guy who's a
prerogative.
police, and you know that's a manly profession.
Yeah.
And then someone comes to knock on the door, and he comes and he goes to the door and he gets upset because, and there comes behind him his boyfriend, without shirt and anything. And you're like, they're trying to push this as normal. So you have this little girl who's really a girl, acting like a transgender boy.
Who also sounds like a boy.
And and now you have this guy who's supposed to be in a manly profession, police, and
He has a
his-
boyfriend.
He has a boyfriend, and this is just things that I'm like, what is this now? So they are pushing
Yeah.
this hook, line, and sinker, and so that is
Using the
one of
media.
the things that we need to do, because we need to mold our boys into good men.
Yes.
Not woman, they're going to live a difficult life. You understand? If
They'll be
people think-
taken advantage of.
They'll be taken advantage of, Kelvin. You think it is okay for a child to grow up, well, let's say a boy growing up thinking that he's a girl and he'll get away in life being okay? I have one of my friends will inbox me and try to say that it's okay, we should just leave it like that and we shouldn't speak out about
If
it.
that's what you want, my position
Yeah.
is, if that's good for you, but if you don't want that, your world you live in is your creation.
Yeah.
If you create that world, of course. But
Because
if you
he
don't
said
want-
we shouldn't speak against it because based on that, you have some parents, he sent me different links, for example, who killed, I think like 2 parents or something, who killed their kid.
well, that's a bit another extreme.
That's like an
thing.
extreme, because people won't kill their children really, but you know what I'm saying? But that actually happened. A man, it is alleged that
Mostly in Eastern cultures.
it
like
is alleged that he
Muslim-
killed his son. It's not definite either because he never said he did it. It's just alleged that he didn't like his son and they found the boy dead. And so
Eastern
it's alleged.
cultures,
We don't know.
they take that serious. They consider it an abomination.
But
And it's probably, but that's a matter. But why people say that is that they're being encouraged. TV programming, they call it programming for a reason. It's telling you what to think.
yeah.
And what we need to understand is that your life is yours. Your life isn't the prime minister's or the queen, although they call them sovereign.
Yes.
Your life is yours. I believe my life is mine. And I have to decide what kind of life I want to live. You could recommend, he could recommend,
Me.
but I have the final decision.
We make our own decisions.
Correct.
That's
And
right.
so that's their recommendation. If I say it's garbage for me. You want to live like that?
That's your choice.
That's your choice. That's my position on these matters with LGBTQ. I don't have nothing against it. That's your
Yeah.
thing. Knock out yourself. But
Knock out yourself. Judah Booth says, and this is, too many video games and television, etc., has proven to be mind-numbing and altering to kids. studies are now showing how detrimental these really are. Ruben Martinez says the gay agenda is being pushed here in America heavily.
Yes.
Be careful what your kids are watching on TV. Like Brian said, it's even on Disney. And on Disney, I am
We
shocked
talked
that I'm
about
seeing-
that on another time.
We did speak about that on
Before.
another show. And it is something real. And Kelvin, I want to get to you now. We have been seeing a lot of violence against women. All right? And I know you're young, and I told you that this is something, I studied this, by the way. This is one when I was in USA.
Violence against women.
Yes. When I was at Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington, one of the subjects I took had to do with this. And, I did take some women's studies as well. And this right here, violence against women, this has been an issue. And like I told you in Belize now, this is one I looked over. In Belize now, it is something that we have been seeing proliferating, that we now know that we are at a crisis level. Now, I wanted to ask something of you, Kelvin. Do you feel that, let's say, and I'm just going to put out a scenario to you, all right? Do you feel, let's say a girl, she tells you something out of the way. By the way, how should a woman be treated in the house, Kelvin?
So first of all, the woman should be respected and not like be hidden or like abused. Any kind of abuse, like verbally, physically, or sexually abuse.
Okay, and do you feel, and I did not prep him, by the way, these are just questions that are being thrown out right now. But Kelvin, do you feel that, let's say a woman tells this man, let's say her husband or her boyfriend something, and it upsets the man. What do you think the man should do, or the boyfriend should do?
So what the man should do is just stay calm and then just try to talk to her, reason why she said this, and try to figure out how to like get a better relationship with this woman. But nowadays, what I'm seeing is like hitting and sometimes killing.
Okay, you see, and he's only 12 years old, and he's impressing me because he can see that. No, I didn't prep him at all, but he can see that. You watch the news, Kelvin?
Yes, I do watch the news.
And you like what you see on the news?
No, I don't like to see what is all happening on the news.
Okay. Do you feel that violence against women and young girls and children are a problem?
Yes, I do think it's a huge problem in society.
Okay. So tell the viewers, why do you think it's a problem, and what do you think should happen? What should we do about it?
I think there's a story that my teacher had told me. There's this lady who has been sexually abused for almost 14 years, and then until one day after 14 years she finally spoke up. And then so what I'm saying is that if you feel anything is wrong, anything is like off, it's not like, it's not, you should try to find help, and you should make sure try to stay away from that person.
Okay, very good, Kelvin. I like that because, see, that's one of the things. We have to ensure that, I'm telling you, I haven't asked him these questions, but I am very happy with the response that you've given, Kelvin, because it shows that you're listening and it shows that you're thinking.
And do you want to know what's a coincidence?
Sure.
In social studies, I was learning about children rights.
Okay.
It was about like all kinds of abuse, like physical, sexual abuse, verbal abuse.
Okay. All right.
And like we were talking about laws about it.
Okay. So there's rights. Children do
Yes.
have rights. do children have responsibilities as well?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so they have rights, but there's also responsibilities as well, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, see, we have to, like what was mentioned earlier, and some of our viewers have, and I must say, let me just go back. On LinkedIn, we have Jayakumar Natajaran, and he's watching from, I think you're watching from India or Pakistan. He says, excellent and most needed topic. And I know, Kenra, I believe you're in the US. A number of our viewers on there are around the world.
Foreign.
Yes. Well, I want to say also that, again, Judah Booth says, and this is Jacqueline Booth says, the Bible says we are not our own. We can only expect a blessing when we do what is in obedience to the God's word. Jasid X Avila says, a lot of different studies are actually uncovering that a vast number of these gender bimorphic young people have been abused, hence their sexual confusion. Add to that the social inculcation, the chemicals in the food and environment. When you add the fact that the majority of black young boys never have experienced the example of a real man, except it be a gangster or some wishy-washy men in the community that have no strong values. Ruben Martinez says, I think men hit when they get their feelings or ego hurt, and usually it's men that came from broken homes or did not have that father figure to guide them right when they were younger. I agree completely. And lastly, Jasid said, no 5 or 9-year-old child knows themselves enough to desire to change their sex when they've never had sex and their hormones are still being formed. Many adults, the LGBTQ community, are actually speaking out against forcing hormone replacement in young children until they reach the age of maturity. I will never abuse or discriminate anyone for their sexual preference, but it's obvious that an agenda is being pushed to weaken particularly young black men. And I agree. But what I want to say, what Ruben said about the feeling or the ego being hurt. When a man hits a woman, their feeling or ego is hurt. And it's true, a lot of time they come from broken homes and they did not have that father figure to guide them right when they were younger. Now, I have spoken to some males, and what I have found out, because I like to ask questions, and they will know, I will ask questions. Some of them may feel uncomfortable when I ask them, but I will still ask them, and I'll try to do it very nicely as best as I could. But what I found out is that exactly what you said, Ruben, I have seen one, sometimes when they may feel intimidated by someone like me. So one, I've come across some males who feel that, okay, they should be above me because they're a man, and they should probably be smarter than me, wiser than me, everything better. And that's fine, that's beautiful if you were and you are. I have no problem with that. But the fact that I may be smarter than you, wiser than you, and more successful than you shouldn't feel offended by that. You understand? You can develop yourself just like I did. And that's when you will see they becoming, you see the inferiority complex kicking in, and you see the arrogance at time, and the aggression and all that, Brian.
All right. If you look at civilization as a whole, the male was valuable because of warfare. Men were made, but when society became so-called civilized in city, they started to have division of labor. The warrior became least important, and therefore the rules are different. Now, even today, men are into warfare more than female. The U.S. Army does not put female on the front line.
Not much.
Right?
Yeah.
They protect them. So warfare is still a male-driven undertaking.
Even the Navy SEALs
yes,
are still male.
But now in everyday life, women have all the talents just like men, and there is no need for that division of labor. It's very, in fact, I am one of the mind that I don't think women should dominate. I don't think men should. It took me many years of wisdom to get to that. I have a different view as a male. I listen to female and I get their view to get the correct view. Because I have a one-sided view. They have a one-sided view too.
Yeah.
But when I get their view, I get the true picture. Because they see things differently from me. So I think it's valuable to have a woman's view, to add to my view, so I could figure out more or less what's the truth. Because when you're not open to that, when you're not open to see things and understand that you don't know it all and see it all, you need somebody else's perspective, no matter how bright you think you are.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it, that you need to want to learn from others, you need to want to gain, there isn't nobody right in here, anywhere I meet, that doesn't know something I don't know.
Yeah.
I guarantee he knows something I don't know. Everybody. So once you accept that, that's the first stage. You have to have a level of humility. And also, you have to understand that it's no longer necessary for men to be the masters at the home. It could be a partnership, and women have their strength, men have their strength. There was a time for protection purposes when I think it was absolutely necessary that the men were masters at the home.
Yes.
Because there was physical threat, tribes come and kill you,
Yes.
you need the men to pray. No, people don't normally do that. You understand? The rare occasion people just come and kill you.
Yes.
But that's not normal, so that's not necessary. I think they don't understand that. The role they part us, where the men dominate, was suited for a particular era.
Yes.
I think this era is one of partnership.
Partnership. That's right.
Because that's what will produce the best results.
Yes.
That time, domination won't work. Even domination by female, because you have feminists who wants to dominate too.
Yes.
They are extreme, men bad, toxic masculinity.
I know.
You understand?
I know, because I had some more books on that one.
Yes.
Those were some that
Yes, you have people like that. I don't believe in that
Yeah.
either. I believe this is the age of partnership. This isn't the age, even in racially, this isn't the age where white people dominate black people, or black people dominate white people, or Indian people, or Chinese people.
That was only back then.
Back then, now,
Yes.
this is the age if we are to live together, like Martin Luther King said, we either live as brothers or perish as fools. This is the age where we either learn to be partners, both in men and women, both in rich and poor, all areas.
And I think that, again, this critical thinking book, I really hope that this book, or whichever critical thinking book, starts to be taught in school, let's say from high school, if possible.
From what I gather, as I told you, they will tell you lies, but I've been trained in education from the University of Math Education. I've been teaching for many years. I've been privileged to go to schools in the US, Trinidad, Jamaica, all over the world to visit and see. That's not the purpose of school now. The purpose of school now is to create people only for the workforce.
Yeah.
And CXC Math, when I was going to high school, had 5 more subjects, topics, than they do now. They cut down some of the topics. So everything is being tailored just so you get the minimum.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but we now are seeing, for example, this isn't only Belize.
Yes, global.
This is globally. And so what we are seeing now, men and women, let me just throw that out there. Another time we're going to talk about women, but men, boys, they have this, a lot of them have this coldness about them, that they will see others being hurt and will not do anything, will not want to do anything, will just pull their phones
And just record.
And just record. They will start recording. And they will, again, that is something that before that, you could just hit a woman and that would be left just like that. There would be repercussions, you know, or an old lady, an old man, or a child, you know, that didn't deserve it. And now we don't see that anymore. It's like, it's just, you know, it's a viral video now.
That's a consequences of being westernized. Because if you go to a city in like New York and so on, people mind their own business. I spent 4 years in Los Angeles. I lived there. And only you, one of my neighbors in Belize, I know all my neighbors. People don't worry with you in these big cities in the States.
Yes.
Right? Where you keep your shell, if that one be. So I think we copy that trend. Where people, once you don't mess with me, you do whatever you are.
Yeah. But it's even
it's
WhatsApp. Now, people don't call each other anymore, you WhatsApp each other. People don't go to see each other anymore.
They just video chat.
Yeah.
I mean video call.
Yeah, we just video call, we just video chat with each other, right?
Video chat.
We don't have that human interaction anymore, and in the process, that coldness. And we are human beings. We're developed with emotions, and we need that societal, you know, nurture.
I agree, but I think there's an agenda, global agenda, where they don't want that anymore. They want people to be hooked. When I was in the States in 2015, my brother drives. He doesn't drive without a computer to tell him how to drive, turn left. So that's the world they want to create.
Yes.
Their human beings are just cog of a machine.
That's how my friends drive in the US.
Yes, I was everywhere. Nowhere they turn left and slash, turn this, turn that. So that's the world that they're pushing for. We
are old school, because when I'm in the US, whichever country, and I'm driving.
Yes, I just figure it out. I ask people if
what I'm going to do, I'm going to find out where I'm going to go, especially it's a country that I have to drive on the left side of the road. Like Cayman Islands, you know, I have to drive there on the left side. And I literally will find out where I have to go. So yeah, I will find out where I have to go, and then I will make sure I go there. I'm not going to be listening to that thing, but when I see my friends, when they're driving me, that's all, it's right true.
I think that's the trend. You have, see, we are products to them. And I'm talking people like Google, people like Facebook, people like Amazon, people like, what's the Chinese one again? I forget. Anyway, all those people, they basically are now running the world. 2013 or 14, Exxon was taken down, I think, as one of the top 500 companies.
Yes.
Now Google and so on. So these are the people that control the political agenda in most countries, or the powerful countries. And their agenda is to get us hooked into the computer world, automation. That's their agenda. Why do you think that the UN and the First World recently made a declaration, not that everybody needs food, you know, that everybody is going to have access to the internet?
You see? Kelvin, how do you feel about that? You're young, you are growing in this era, a different era from me and Brian. How do you feel? I mean, that's the era, it's all computer and technology.
I feel like we're just downgrading. We're not like teaching ourselves how to do this or do that. We're just Googling stuff instead of learning. Wow. I also remember the time when my dad taught me how to drive. Yes, that's crazy, but I do know how to drive. He did just say just look at the map or the GPS or however you call it. He told me to turn left, turn right, go straight, take the roundabouts.
And Kelvin learned how to drive at the age of 10 years old, I think?
11.
11? Okay, it was 2020. 2020?
2021.
2021?
Yes, last
Okay,
year.
2021. That's when, okay. So, your father took the time to teach you.
Yes, he did just say, just look at the map or look at the GPS.
Okay, all right. And you see right there, you see what importance his father played to him? You see, someone like, I'm very busy, not that he's not busy, but I'm extremely busy. So, you know, while my father tried to teach us how to drive when we were 14 years old, like me, when I was 14 years old, so I could deliver goods. So I could go deliver goods. Kelvin's father taught him at 11 years old. You're
3
saying?
years younger,
3 years younger than me,
which is good.
which is good. That's very good, Kelvin.
Way better.
Way better.
So I think part of
And I felt good about 14 years
social
old.
distancing and so on, everything is an agenda. They want us to disconnect from each other. That's the plan. Everything, I will give you a brief synopsis. I don't want to get too intellectualized. Before the Industrial Revolution, everybody used to live on the farm. Everybody used to have their own pension. Everybody used to, through the farm, the older village used to take care of the younger and so on and so on. Then after the industrial, government came in and government made us dependent. Now nobody take care of each other. We have old homes in villages now where they put the...
Yeah.
That's unthinkable. So the trend of the global elite is to dehumanize us and make us centralized.
Yeah.
Before World War I, you didn't need a passport to travel the world. Then they made the UN, and then you need documents. They made, and everything you need to depend on permission from. So I think they have a dream, the World Economic Forum, that the people live no more in the country, they live in cities, and everything will be automated. So I think they have their dream, and they are implementing it, and we are helping them because they are. It's just like a drug dealer. Why do you think Google is for free? They must have an agenda. They must be benefiting.
They get all our information. They know how we think.
Yes.
They know what we're interested in. What
And
we're
that's why it's
interested in.
free. We don't pay for it.
Yep.
So
That's
if
right.
somebody gives you something for free, pay, that means they are benefiting from it.
Big time.
Right?
Jahid Avila says, if you think about it, why would anyone want to identify themselves just based on their sexual preference? I am more than just a straight man, and if I just go around beating my chest, identifying myself simply as that, then obviously something is wrong with my mindset. Then he said, I beg to defer the Caucasian race. He says the Caucasian race, particularly white America, while losing their power, still control the educational, political, economic agenda of most countries, of most nations on earth, particularly the darker people. In that sense, we are not free or equal. Our condition tells us that. We may say we are living in a free world, but it's knowledge that frees us and makes us equal. Not belief, not opinions, not feelings.
I want to touch that.
Hold on one second. Hold on, let me finish what he says. When he says we may say that we're living in a free world, but it's knowledge that frees us and makes us equal, not belief, not opinions, not feelings. Those are actually invisible chains that most people are not aware of. And then Dr. Gerald Zuniga says, father figure issue is baloney. Broken family is baloney. Broken is historical, and men were men and women were women. The same with poverty is used to justify to criminality. Societies have allowed themselves to be engineered, and they are being engineered for a purpose, mainly to be dominated and controlled. The economic and social model has been engineered, challenging nature, until humanity realized that our societies are being molded or engineered for a special purpose for the domination of the elites. Humanity will be only humanity will only be destroyed as such by the perverted elitist individuals who don't give a darn. And then Sean, Wendy McPherson say, you speak in truth, careful now. I enjoy teaching every class. Go back to eating off your own land. They no control. Knowledge is the power. And Ruben Martinez says the New World Order is making cash obsolete, so you don't have control over your money anymore. So yes, you were speaking on. Go ahead.
It's because don't let the so-called Caucasian fool you. It's more than about race. In 7-11, the Moors, who are black people, conquered most of Europe and dominated them. They were enslaved by black people. It's not a black or a white thing. For over 500 years. Okay. That's why when they came over to this world, the people against slavery said, you're treating us just like the Moors treated us.
So the Moors?
The Moors are black people.
Okay.
Enslaved mostly Spain.
Yes.
And most of Italy till 1492 in Grenada. I don't like to get too academic. People get
no, but I love that because you're educating. You're educating us. Yes, and I love it.
So black people enslaved white people already historically.
You hear that, Jahid? We need to.
No, I'm telling you, you can check it out.
Okay, Jahid. We got
they don't want you to do that, but black people enslaved white people for over 500 years. Okay. They dominate. Most of the knowledge they got was from black people. Yes. So I don't think it's about race. Yes, there are white people in control now, but that's why I tell you black people should not try and just dominate them because the cycle will just...
I don't agree with it either. And Jahid...
You understand? So, but I agree that it's mostly Caucasian in control. That's a fact. But I'm telling you, black people will do the same thing. The Africans had this book. I read this book many years ago, so I don't remember the name. Black Skin, White Master, written by African. But he was saying when the black people took over Africa, they were worse than the white masters. Yep. More abusive. So I don't think it's about, I think it's about a mindset.
I think it's a mindset, that mental slavery.
Yes. And correct, because I read a lot of African literature, philosophy and so on, so I know what's going on with that, and I could tell you it's black people they don't teach you that, but black people had enslaved white people already.
Yes. Okay.
Right? So it's not a black or white thing per se, white people bad, black people good. No, it's in fact, there are some anthropologists I read a lot omnivorously who believe there was a time when women dominated men due to artifacts and they closed our history and they were oppressive to men too. So you have to expose yourself to all kind of intellectual. I expose myself to everything.
I agree.
So and there are some people they have historical evidence, pictures where women were in charge, all kind of things in some little tribes. Most people don't know those stuff. So I believe when people want to dominate another, and I see it, how I know it's possible, because I know some women who are abusive to men and who dominate men. It's rare, but I see it. So I know it's not impossible. It's rare. So I think it's about wanting to dominate another human being.
Yes, I think so. I think it's domination indeed. Just quickly, Adolfo Carlos Garcia says, we were born with greatness within, but 95% of people live outside. Limiting beliefs. Well, Sean agrees with you. Adolfo also says we have many intelligence gifted by God, but in school they don't teach that only one intelligence. So oppressed by government. Good night, Rachel. Good night, Rachel and Elizabeth Balderramos. Good night, good night. Thanks for tuning in. And that's right, Adolfo. We love our country. Jacqueline also says this show is great for stimulating and encouraging critical thinking. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, Jacqueline Booth. Jahid Avila says, and thank you. That's what we aim to do. Jahid Avila says, Brother Brian, we never enslaved Europe for 400 years.
Yes, from 711 to 1492, the Moors ruled Europe. Especially Spain, it was center in Spain.
He says the Moors conquered Spain for 700 years,
correct,
but never stripped the Europeans of their names, culture, history, language, religion, and God.
I beg to disagree.
That's why they were able to rally expel these black Arab Muslims from Spain.
That's not true. That's their perspective of it. Because it's just like how we say slave wasn't bad in Belize.
Yes.
That's not true. The Moors were terrible. There is historical documentation when they were beating the slaves that they said they treated them just like the Moors.
Yes. I don't know a lot about it, but I did read that part.
Correct. So that's somebody's fantasy that black is good, white is bad.
Yes.
That is, the historical evidence doesn't say that. They want to paint that pretty picture, but domination for 700 years, you must know something wrong with that.
Yes.
They did do all of that, but they eventually, just like black people now,
Yes.
the people overcome. We overcome. Black
Yes.
people overcome. So the Europeans overcome just like any people overcome, just like how female overcome male domination.
Yeah.
That is inevitable.
And you know what? As much as Ruben Martinez says, very entertaining, educational, and uplifting show. Keep up the good work,
But-
Miss Moya. Thank you very much. And
So
Isaac,
what
please-
I
Thank you, my friend,
guarantee
for
you
tuning
there
in.
was slavery, and I guarantee you the blacks were very brutal to the white and stripped them and so on. Right? Eventually, just like what happened, the slavery softened. Just like history is just rewriting.
But you know what, Brian? I want us to
Because
say this.
eventually the blacks started to be a little nicer to the whites were a little nicer. So history is just rewind and repeat.
Yes, I wanna say that a lot of us are mixed in this world period.
Correct.
We're very mixed. Now you will have and a lot of us have black in us, have
Correct.
white in us. A lot of us. It doesn't
Correct.
matter what it is.
Even if
There
you
is
look
no
black
pure
or white.
race.
Hold on one second.
Even if you look black or white or brown.
Yes, that's true.
I don't think there's no pure blood because we're mixing a long time and all through history we've been mixing.
Yes.
And people are all related, but that's another matter.
But
But once you see it as a black and white thing or a man and woman thing, you take a side like I being a PUP or I being a
Yeah.
UDP. I become biased and I can't objectively look at the fact.
I agree, and we shouldn't do that. We
Yeah.
have to work together. And I see. Listen, I remember I was doing my master's degree, my MBA, in Detroit, Michigan, and I remember Jesse Jackson went to my university, right? And you have to understand, I had done my bachelor's degree at Gonzaga University in Washington State, which was a white state.
Yeah.
Then I went to Michigan, which was very mixed and had a lot of blacks. So, but I was treated extremely well in Washington.
Yeah.
I went to Michigan, and with fairness, who did not treat me well were the black females. They did not treat me
Competitor.
well at all,
They see
except
that-
like one, Leilani Hinyard, my friend. She was the one of the black females. For some reason, I don't know, they did not like me, and they acted out. They treated me in that manner.
Yes.
Now, I went there on a full academic scholarship, so I didn't have time to be paying them attention. Like I was there to make sure I do and excel, of which I did. I really excelled in my class. But what I wanted to say, Jahid and all those, is that it's funny because I have never hid the blackness in me. I've never hid it.
Myself.
And while I was there, I just feel that I should not have been treated that way by the black females.
I think there is no
The
way-
black males love me, the white males and the white females treated me well.
That's my personal belief. There is only one race, the human race. All these race thing is a social construct. I don't believe in it. I live in it and I come true, understand other people believe it, but I don't believe it.
Yes. But Brian, what I want to tell you is that if we continue just putting ourselves in that little bubble,
It's war.
then that won't take us anywhere. We're here discussing about how to mold boys into good men.
Correct.
And I don't feel that there's any room, absolutely any room for us to still carry, and I'll call it a chip on our shoulder. I'm not saying you don't understand and know your history, right? There's good and bad in that history. However, we have to move on, and we have to move on for the sake of our future and our children's future generation. If I had spoken about that when I was in Washington, how that little group wanted me to just stay with them and just be a part of their ahana, their, just blacks, just a one little a table of blacks. And I told them, no, I couldn't just be there, I would be around.
That's like jail.
Exactly. And so I would not be there to be able, I would not have excelled. I don't think I would have been able to be all over the world and be able to just, be able to, I can go anywhere and not be afraid.
There was a time when I was much younger where I would agree with those type of sentiments, but I become knowledgeable that is not the right perspective.
No.
The right perspective is that we're human beings first, and there's good and bad in every race.
And we have successful of both race.
Yes, so
you understand?
I don't see. I used to listen to Louis Farrakhan growing up in high school, so I understand where that is coming from.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. He
Yes.
said the white man is the devil and those type of things.
Yes.
So I know of that philosophy. I understand it fully.
I want to just say, Kezia Nixon says, what are we with black history? What is our identity? Who are we? Is this we struggling because of our mindset? Because remember, history is his story.
Right.
All right, big up to that smart young man on the show. All right. Then he also says, on a serious note, is our history being stripped away? Who are we? Exactly where is our safety net and room for growth and improvements? You understand? And then I can go on. I know Adolfo says our most important gift is the mind. And if we fail to study the mind in order to get the best of it, we don't awaken the real mind. We will forever continue with insanity. And this is someone, he has lived in Mexico, Adolfo. And again, let me just finish. Jahid again says, what you need to understand is that the science shows that the black gene germ is dominant. The white genes are recessive. You understand? That Mendel's laws that all scientists acknowledge, your shade doesn't matter. The Caucasian will make you know this, RN. We say move on, but we can't move on without a true knowledge of self and God, which includes knowledge of what blackness means. It's not limiting as you may think, Brian. You're limited in your scope and understanding. All right? And then he also speaks about the very religion you call Christianity was forced upon us by the white slave masters in the name of Jesus, and that the black people in the hemisphere, black people in this hemisphere are the only people who were enslaved for 400 plus years and stripped of their names, culture, language, and knowledge of their history and lost everything. Until now, we not only don't know our history, we identify with our oppressors. No one is saying black is good and white is bad.
I advise you to read the book by Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Pablo Ferrer. He's a Brazilian. All oppressed people identify with the oppressor. When you're oppressed, you hate your oppressor and you want to be like him at the same time.
Yes.
That's why sometimes abusers. So that is normal.
Yes.
That's why white people, when black people are oppressed, they identify with black people too.
Yes.
A lot of the queens ceremonial thing come from Egypt, which is black people.
Yes.
They know that. I know that they were oppressed by black people one time. They are returning the favor.
Yes.
It was a war of attrition because of what black people did to them. They never forgave black people, and black people will never rise again. So I understand what slavery was about. Slavery was about getting back, right? Yes. They were warriors, the crusaders. But me, I understand all of that. That's their perspective. Yes. But not because you hate me, I will hate you back.
I agree.
That is crazy. Then best thing, why am I complaining about you? It's like I say you racist, and then I racist against you.
Yeah.
You know, makes sense.
And then you see our young generation, if we continue if we continue, we want to
This is
mold boys into good men. If we continue, I believe, with that mindset that, you know, we were enslaved, and, you know, we're still, what is it, that we're still oppressed?
Yes. And
all that.
true. I'm not saying
We're still
that
oppressed. What will that tell our children? Hold on. That will tell our children now that, you know what? You can't make anything of yourself because, you know what? You're oppressed, and you have been marginalized, and A, B, C, D, F, G. Kelvin, do you feel you're oppressed? Do you feel you're a young man? Do you feel you're oppressed? Do you feel that society is beating down on you and all that? Or do you feel that you can become something of yourself? You can be positive in this world. Tell us.
I do think I can be positive in this world, but as far as I know, I'm not really so sure.
Okay, so you
That's
see,
just me.
okay, and I'm glad you said you're not sure. And you see, this is what we will have to try and because they need to know themselves, but at the same time know themselves in a manner, you understand, that they value who they can be. It's not only about their forefathers, it's about what is present and what you will become.
Correct.
You see?
That's what life is. I study a lot of philosophy. Life is becoming who you are.
Yeah.
Because you're born shapeless. Or when you're born, your lone potential. You can't tell what a baby will be. When you do, you become. And more you become something, you have to decide. Through decision, through choices, through experience. So all of us are full of potential when we are born. But when you become a certain age, you can't do everything again.
Regardless of color. I have seen,
regardless of color.
Regardless.
I don't believe in those.
You have so many billionaires
Correct.
who are black.
Yeah.
Please tell me when they got oppressed.
So, but what needs to happen is that you have to decide. I don't believe in letting people create my reality. I understand all their neo-Nazi thing. I understand all their race theory. I understand all their Zulu. I understand, but I don't subscribe to it.
Yes.
I subscribe to my belief based on my experience, and that I have proven by trying it to test a theory and see if it works. They will not rent space in my head and let me. This is, see, once you control somebody's perception, you control their reality.
Yes.
If I think you hate me, and I really believe it, and I might act up on you and beat you up, maybe you never even hate me, you never even have an idea about me.
Yes.
So your perception creates your reality.
All right.
And if you think those people who have their theories control your life, they will. But once you are agent and believe you're free, they will try and stop you. But they can't, because you will never give up. And once you don't give up, they have two choices: either kill you or buy you over.
Exactly.
That's only two choices exist. Whatever you want to do, I'm a free spirit. If you want to live and you want to say, I'm going to do whatever, kill this one, that's your prerogative, but there will be consequences, and it's an unwise choice.
Mm-hmm.
You have to decide now, what is happening, why I believe I hypothesize, why the males are having so much problem is that there was a shift in the 70s, 60s, 70s, that's when the height of it, where particularly in the US, inflation was crazy. I don't want to get too much into economics and so on. I don't like to bore people with these academic things. Inflation was double digit, triple digit. The US went off the goal here, had Vietnam and so on in the 60s. And the one single home was no longer one parent. The men were no longer able to supply a family due to the economic reality. They popularized female going to work, and nothing is wrong with that. I'm trying to show you that there's a purpose. These people know what they are doing. So when the female went to work, because it was no longer possible In the past, a person without a high school education could mind a family of 5 easily, with comfortably.
Of course.
But due to the economics, changing economics became necessary for them to push that. All of this is necessity. Now, the time has changed, but the philosophy of being a man has not. Where you're the protector, you're the boss. The whole economic, social society have changed. So, some people haven't adapted to the new reality. The new reality is that a woman is as educated as you and sometimes smarter than you. Don't need you to take care of them. Some of them still want that, but a lot of them don't need that. And therefore you need to adapt to that reality if you want to function in the modern world.
Yes.
There are some people who don't want to function like that. I believe whatever floats your boat. You could go, there are women, in fact, in certain Mennonite community, they are old school.
Yes.
The man is the boss and that is it. You understand?
Yeah.
Nothing is wrong with that. That's their choice. And they don't participate in any government. They are Belizean Mennonite. They don't vote, they don't do anything because they believe that is wrong.
Yes.
So that's whatever floats your boat. But living in the modern world, I believe the future is collaboration and partnership.
I agree. I love that.
That's my hypothesis. And you could, if you don't agree with that, that is fine. And you could find an area where you could live however you want. But I'm telling you what the future will bring.
I believe in collaboration and partnership. Indeed, as long as it's doing good, not just partnering with those individuals who are trying to bring about, changes that's not good for society, Well, so
they say it's not just hypothesis, it's not just conspiracy theory. They want to create the 4th industrial revolution.
Correct. They've said it openly.
They said it openly. In 2016, Elon Musk started a company called Neuralink where he wants to put chip into people. They want man and machine to merge.
Yes.
That is their agenda, the global elite. And I'm not worried about what they want to do because they don't control my life. I decide they could make any rule, any law, any piece of paper, or bring any drone or anything. So I don't believe they're in control. I know that they're in control of my life. If I let them, I don't want that, so I won't follow them. But if you want that, fine with you.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend in Jamaica. She's principal of a high school there. And she saw transhumanists where man linked with machine as the evolution of human beings. She agreed with it. I said I disagree. And we are good friends. We are friends. Yeah. And so that won't stop our friendship.
I wanna say, okay, so Jacqueline Booth says, regardless of our past, God can bring good out of any bad situation if we surrender to Him and turn young boys into God-fearing men. And I agree with that. I have my brother, right? My brother Sabine always tells me, he says, Zenaida, he says, if our father, right, my dad, if our father did not used to take us and ensure that we go to church, he said, I would have done kill up a lot of people. I'm more like him, I don't kill up a lot of people. But you see, when we were taught, and this is not about church, going to church just help to remind us that there is a God and He's above us. And, we have to love our enemies as ourselves. We have to just always, we have to honor our father and our mother. We have to ensure that we love God above everything and we serve Him and all of those things, all that is asked of us. But by going to church, it helps someone like me to try and just always remember that, there's a higher being. There's a higher being. And so while this New World Order is trying to erase that, that is why they stop the church from opening up. All right, and then people will say, oh, you know, the church is not good. The church, yeah, we don't agree with her, but we don't go there for the pastors. We don't go there for a building.
We go there for God.
You said it right, my dearest. We go there for what?
God.
We go there
And
for
Jesus.
God and Jesus. We go there to go and ensure that we continue to fulfill, we continue our destiny is and will always be to serve God and to one day unite in union. You understand? We will go back to our Maker. And so whilst we're here on earth, we have to not forget that which we are here. We are just here. We are just passing through, just quickly. That's just a little drop in the bucket of eternity. But we now have to live together, and that's why it's so important that, see, some of these things that are being brought up, people will say, well, you know, you're here and you're supposed to be discussing about molding boys into men, and they would have had an idea as to what to do. But if we now are seeing that, you know what, a lot of our young men may not be, may be making good of themselves. Some are not making good of themselves. Some have hate in them. Some have anger in them. What is causing that? And now we have been discussing some of the causes. Because if we continue and believe that we should hate our brother and our sister because he's white, or hate our brother and sister because
it's going to be
because he or she is black.
Yeah,
that cannot continue. And coming from someone who is mixed, I am mixed. And so you cannot tell me that that is right. You cannot tell me that that is right. You cannot tell me that I can only love one side of my family. And you cannot tell me that I should love one side of my family more than the other side. You cannot tell me that. And yes, I know myself. Don't think I don't know myself. Yeah. And it is despite what some people would try to push on me and have me, you know, hate this side, hate that side. Despite of that, I trod on, I move on, and I continue to be positive in life. Because the only way we will go ahead and we will transcend and we will move further and we will progress is if we have a positive mindset. If we continue to have this negative mindset of hate, this negative mindset of exactly, then we won't go anywhere. We will be limited.
Any religion, like I said, I don't like to bore people with these academic analysis, but to give you an idea, what I observed looking throughout history is that religion, whichever it is, whether it's Ra, whether it's in Egypt, whether it's the Allah, whether it's Jesus, the prescription of almost all those religions would work if everybody follow it. But what I found studying history is that the elite in any country do follow the prescription. And
the elites are all colors.
Yes, all colors. I'm not colors. Black, white, yellow, even the black in Egypt just use the religion as social control for their serfdom, so the people who serve them. And so that's why the prescription is usually. Do you think whichever president of the United States really believe in the Bible and serve the Bible? They are bombing countries all over the world. That's not right. So that's the problem with this prescription, that the elites in most of the world, and I've went far back in ancient time. I've studied Chinese history, Russian history, all over the world, African history, European, all over Indian history, and that's what I found, that the elites of the society use religion as social control, but they don't practice it. They don't practice it. They use it to justify their action.
Yep.
So we need to understand that, and we need to understand that religion is a personality.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what you believe, so long as you, like what they say, the fruits. You look at what, if somebody doing right, because somebody interpretation, if I live in India, I'll probably be a Hindu.
Yeah. Well, I want to say...
You understand?
Yes. Kezia, thank you. Yeah, we're mixed, my girl. We're mixed, Kezia Nixon. I know we have to go, so I just want to acknowledge, you know, the passing of my nephew, all All right, we're almost the same age, by the way. I was like I'm like 2 years older than him. But my nephew, Dwayne Ricania in Florida, may your soul rest in peace. You know, we've known each other for so long. We were communicating through this COVID, you know, we were going to push together and, you know, he'd be promoting, you know, CBLEs and all that, and we were back and forth with that one through LinkedIn. But you passed, my brother, he said diabetes, and so I just want to say to my family, to my sister Celia Wills and my entire family, you know, condolences, you know, all my friends who are close. Dwayne Ricania had also worked. He was the director of business. He has his master's degree and very brilliant young man. Director of business development, entrepreneurship and business development at the Department of Cooperatives and Credit Unions for a while. So those at the department and all those cooperatives members and credit union members who loved what Dwayne did. I just want to inform you guys that Dwayne has passed away, Dwayne Ricania. So, yeah, him and I were very close. I have some beautiful pictures of him. It was just a shocker. So thank you very much, Kezia, Adolfo, thank you everybody. Yeah, I love Dwayne. We grew up together as little kids, and he was just a wonderful, you know, young man, black. You know, my sister looks like me, and her father, and Dwayne never and I know, because I've spoken to the team, and say, okay, because he's black, that took him down, and that he didn't get anywhere. Dwayne excelled, you understand, did his bachelor's degree in the US, then did his master's degree in the US, and just had good jobs, and just excel. Nothing could take down Dwayne Ricania, not his color, nothing. And that's the attitude we need, you understand, because he had his father, Leroy Ricania, he had my sister Celia Wills, and he had a good family, all his sisters, brothers, everybody, you know, they're supporting him. And so he grew up well. And so I just want to tell you that. Kelvin, you know, do you have anything you want to mention? Because, you know, I just want to say that I brought Kelvin on the show because sometimes we don't listen to our young people. But our young people, we can learn from them. They are the generation that's here that will take over from us. He'll take over from me. You understand? It's his generation. It's him. As a matter of fact, Kelvin actually assists in managing CBLE's vacation rentals. You understand? Kelvin does just about everything.
It's why I said it earlier.
Exactly. And so, unless we remind ourselves that we are molding, teachers mold, you best believe teachers mold, and teachers are one of our main molders of young boys and young girls. But we as parents, we mold as well. We mold, we're the first ones. And that is why I will not, and I refuse to have my son believe that he is less than anyone, anything, or he has this particular thing, and I'll just say thing it's not lack of a better word. The fact that, you know, his color, whatever it is that, you know, who he is, or his name, whatever, that will hold him down. You understand? My son has to grow up, I believe, like me. I went out into the world at a young age. I was 18 years old when I went out, and I was doing my bachelor's degree. You understand? I was a young girl out in the world by myself. I by myself, and I had to deal with people from all over the world. But because I knew who I was, and I appreciated who I was, and I had a father and a mother who reminded me of my worth, you understand? They helped mold me into the person who I am. And so they made me into this. They helped me to be this fearless warrior. That's who I am. I'm a fearless warrior. I don't ever forget. I know who I am. But I'm also someone who who will try to educate. I'm also someone who will try to, articulate in the best manner possible to try and empower those around me who will try to engage persons so that they can be their best selves. We owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our young people. Education, our educators, they owe it to all of us as well, because they are the ones who spend so many hours with our children, and it's them that we look up to. You understand? So Adolfo says, God bless you, young Kelvin. You are blessed by God to have a great mom like Mrs. Moya. Blessings. Good luck
Thank
in
you.
all. All right? And, okay, and so I just want to tell you that we don't want to, this has been an awesome show, but it doesn't end here.
It's
just a beginning of a discussion. And when I see Jasid, you saying you want to discuss, no problem, my brother. One of these days, come on the show and we can discuss. Jacqueline and Jake Wood, I would love to have you guys on, So the point is, though, let us be our best selves for our children. What can we do to help mold them? We discussed some of them. We said it, we discussed, we didn't just throw it out like bullet points. We discussed it real. I brought him on just to show you that, what? Some people will say, oh, Kelvin was born with a gold spoon in his mouth. That's how some people said Kelvin was born with a gold spoon in his mouth. When Kelvin was just minutes old, Kelvin's name was already said on the news that he was born. And so Kelvin, though, I never treated him as though, oh, gold spoon in Kelvin's mouth. Do I treat you like that, Kelvin?
Mm-mm.
How do I treat you?
You educate me, and you don't just let me do whatever I want.
Okay. Do you work, Kelvin?
Yes, I do.
You work just like anybody else, correct? So I will not do that. I will refuse to do that. My child will not be a child that I just give everything to. He works also because he has to appreciate what it is. He has to appreciate hard work. He has to appreciate sacrifice. I refuse to be a parent who will just give everything to my child. And the day I cannot give my child, that's when they get upset with me. They feel that I should be disrespected and they shouldn't go out and take what they want from people, do armed invasion, do home invasion, kill, steal. No. So we have to work. My father instilled that in me. My mother instilled that in me. And so it's us. It's our responsibility to mold our young. We have to mentor. And so
that's what lacking right now. I observe it.
I have someone who will be on the show next week. We will be discussing. He has been someone who has engaged in domestic violence, right? And so he wants to push an initiative where, he has stopped by the way, but he wants to push an initiative whereby men will start to, well, he will discuss all that, but, people have to discuss this so that they can help themselves. When you don't feel that you have worked, you will take it out on your wife and on your children. So we need to get our men together and have them understand the importance that they play in society and in our children's lives. So with that said, Kelvin, I want to say thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, and continue being the young man who is always open to learn and
well-rounded
and helpful, okay? And big up to your school for doing a good job as well. You understand? He was at Belize Elementary School with fairness, and then now he's at Horizon Academy, And so I just want to big up all the teachers that they have also played a great role in Kelvin's life. Brian, I want to big you up. You have always stepped to the plate, and I always thank you for always stepping to the plate. You're not someone who's shy. You're not someone who does not want to impart your knowledge, and that's what I love about you. I absolutely love this about Brian Plummer. I knew his brother when we used to go to SJC together, and I admire that in anyone who feels that they are willing to impart knowledge and is not afraid to speak up. I love that about you. And so you, our viewers, I want to thank you for every week tuning in. Now, as I told you, we're on Max Television all over the country, and I want to big up Max Television and radio. I want to big you guys up. So everybody, channel 51, I know in my area there's different channels, I had mentioned it before, but just make sure that you look it up and you find out exactly where you can watch it, no? And Marvin, I want to just tell you, thank you, my friend, thank you for all that you do for this show. Marvin has been someone, he's our, you know, man, he is doing just about everything, you know, Marvin. So I just want to just really tell you thank you for all that you do, and just continue helping us to make this show a big. I just want to quickly just say big up to I want to say Max TV. Again, Max TV is on channel 51 on Central Cable Television and Internet. Corozal, Orange Walk, Ladyville, they're on channel 51. In San Pedro, they are on channel 33. In Belize City, Cayo, Belmopan, Dangriga, and Punta Gorda, they are on channel 14. And then they also have their live streaming on Max TV and the radio, and they're on different avenues. They're on Instagram, they're on MadLab. Just always know that they are there. So thank you very much. And with that said, you have a wonderful good night. This show was brought to you through the courtesy of Sea Belize Vacation Rentals. We are located
5 miles Philip Golson Highway after Hullover Bridge.
The phone numbers are
615-4485-65 and 67.
All right, and we have units of different types, different styles, whichever you want. And we have this big old
40 by 16 feet infinity pool. One side is 4 feet, the other side is 6 feet.
And so you can come enjoy. We have picnic tables for you to use. We have benches. We have deck chairs. Just come enjoy yourselves.
We sell drinks.
Yes, go ahead, Gil.
We sell drinks, we serve rooms, and we also rent the pool.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah, so you got it there. Kelvin is, I told you, when you guys see ads going out and flyers too.
It's mainly me who's posting them.
It's Kelvin who's posting them. So I just want to say, because some of you might think it's me, it's really Kelvin. So I want to big you up, Kelvin. And Kelvin is one of the main drive, and Marvin. And so thank you very much. Have a wonderful and blessed good night. We're going to end it and show our Sea Belize Vacation Rentals ad. So go ahead. All right, The what?
Credits.
Oh, the credits, and we're going to play the credits as well, so you see who's behind this show. We have to make sure we play the credits. So take it away, Marvin. Mr. Marvin Martinez, take it away.
Looking for the ultimate sea view getaway? Then Sea Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours, located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway near the Hullover Bridge, is your perfect sea view getaway. Come relax in one of our beautiful air-conditioned sea view apartment, studios, sea view rooms, or suites, all with flat screen television, hot and cold bath, and unlimited access to a spacious and refreshing 40 by 16 foot pool with 6 to 4 feet depth. So you can enjoy that fun and refreshing dive or dip in the pool. We sell ice cold drinks so you can relax and unwind on our overwater or poolside decks. Contact us at 501-615-4485, 65 or 67. Looking for the ultimate sea view get